Welcome to another exciting episode of Hashtag Real Estate. Last week we explored township property developments and how Ikasi is a gold mine worth investing in. This week, we take a look at the assumptions and common mistakes that investors make when it comes to property and how it can be avoided. Don't move.
Hello everyone, I'm devlopment of TM Group.
My name is Samezake. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Hashtag Real Estate.
Now investing in real estate is nothing like buying groceries on special. Successful property investors never let a property promoter or marketer sell them a property without going to do their own due diligence on the property or the area for that matter.
Clever investing in property can make a difference in your income and provide for comfortable retirement. But let's take a quick look at some of the most important principles that you need to consider when investing in your first property.
While many investors start out with the intention of making it big in the real estate industry, only a handful will ever get past their first investment, and even less will create real wealth by climbing to the top of the property ladder. When it comes to property investment, there's no shortage of information available about what budding investors should do in order to ensure success, but most importantly, learning about the pitfalls to avoid so you don't become a statistic of the property game.
Ultimately, people get into property investment sometimes believing that it's a get-rich-quick scheme. You've got to be ready to be involved for the long haul. You have to understand what your budget requirements are. You have to be comfortable with your money being tied up for a certain period of time. And you have to have a clear understanding of what your risk, what kind of risk you're comfortable with. I think before people get into property investments, they have to have a clear understanding of their personal finances. They have to understand their existing income, their expenses, their outstanding loans. I really give advice to people that if they don't really understand where they are financially, to take a month or two and understand exactly what they're spending money on. Very often people may find that there are certain expenses that they can cut, which may free up a little bit of cash for further property investment.
So, you found yourself a perfect building in the right location, but you don't seem to be generating enough income and finding that you're putting in a lot more than you'd get out. What do you do?
When getting into investment property, don't forget to sit down and write down your real estate goals. Before you visit a property, sit down in a quiet place, put pen to paper and think carefully about what you wish to achieve from the real estate market. You should have a clear idea of what your budget is, how long you want your money to be tied up for, and what type of risk you're most comfortable with. Don't rush into a deal that may be too good to be true. If you find a property that looks amazing, it sometimes usually is. Understand why others have passed on it, what those reasons are, before you jump in and make the worst mistake you can possibly make. You need to remember that the bottom line is everything. Just because you can purchase a property for R1 million and receive a rental of 10,000 Rand doesn't necessarily mean it's a great deal. You need to keep track of all your overhead expenses. I'm talking about rates and taxes, maintenance fees, insurance, property management fees, repairs, vacancies, and income tax. Most important, extensive vetting and screening of tenants. Whether or not you're procuring a tenant yourself or you're using a broker, make sure that any potential tenants are extensively screened. And I'm talking references with regards to previous landlords, employment references, their financials, and their credit history. Failure to effectively vet a tenant may result ultimately in defaults or even worse, squatters. Don't kid yourself. Being a landlord, whether in respect of a single unit or multiple units, is no walk in the park. As a landlord, you need to become familiar with certain legislation, such as the Rental Housing Act and the Consumer Protection Act, and the hands-on management that is required can take a considerable amount of your time. From my advice, align yourself with a management company that will be able to take the stress out of your hands. When purchasing a property, ask the broker to provide you with a disclosure document. What that disclosure document does is it provides you with the defects that are within the reasonable knowledge of the owner. Over and above that, I would also advise you to get your own experts in who can give you a proper report on any potential latent defects on the property.
Don't move. We'll be back right after the break.